guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm absolutely thrilled to bring you this recipe because it's easy, it's incredibly good, sounds amazing, because it is amazing, and it's a total crowd pleaser, but it really couldn't be easier to put together with a little help from the store, or you can make the dough yourself if you wanted to. We're making cinnamon roll pizza. That's right, we are making a pizza that tastes just like a cinnamon roll, but with half the work because we are going to take some help by using already pre-made pizza dough. Now you can buy pizza dough at your local pizza shop. You can walk in, you can ask them, can I buy a ball of dough, and they'll charge you probably $2 for it. Or you can use one of those cans, pizza doughs at your grocery store. You can make your own, oven's preheated. You can make your own and get the recipe, my recipe on laurinthekitchen.com on my pizza dough recipe. Actually, I'll just link it down. I put it in the same page for this recipe. I'll kind of write it down for you if you wanted to make it yourself. But if you've got pizza dough on hand, you're gonna make this recipe in minutes. It's that delicious. So the ingredients you'll need are some brown sugar, granulated sugar, ground cinnamon, unsalted butter, softened at room temperature, super important, some additional flour, and your pizza dough. Now, you're gonna need a few additional ingredients to make the cream cheese glaze, because you need to have cream cheese glaze with your cinnamon rolls, otherwise we can't be friends. Just putting that out there. But anyway, so this is just regular old pizza dough that I make, and I always have in the freezer because it's just so handy. And we're gonna get right into it. It's really easy. I'm going to lightly flour my board. Now, you can roll this out with a rolling pin if you want. I personally am a pizza man's daughter, and rolling pizza out is just what I do. It's part of my job. Well, it used to be part of my job. I'm just flattening it with my fingers. I'm flattening it with my fingers, and then I just kind of go around the sides. And this doesn't have to be perfectly round because we are going to bake this in a baking sheet that's not round, otherwise the butter will go all over the place. But you kind of want to stretch this out. And then just put your hands under it and just keep stretching it and spinning it. That's all you're doing. If it breaks, then you can pinch it back together if it gets like little holes in it. But, whoops, just kind of keep turning it and pulling it ever so slightly. If you see, I cupped my hands, I'm going to get into a fight with someone. And then just gently do it, because you want the border to be a little bit thicker, but not that it's really going to matter here, because I'm going to take a little bit of this butter, like a quarter cup, and put this at the bottom of a baking dish. And this is going to be the first delicious layer, because pizza dough, I mean, it's delicious, but it's not real buttery. And a traditional cinnamon roll dough is. So we are going to make sure that this gets plenty of love and plenty of butter. So we're going to start with that. Then you take your dough, shake off any excess of the flour, put it right in there, and just make it fit. And how easy is that? Now I'm going to tell you, if football season is starting up, and if you've got a crowd coming over on Monday nights for Monday Night Football and Sunday nights, this is incredible because you can make it, they're going to love it, and it's so easy and impressive. I'm going to take some additional butter. I know it's a lot of butter, but trust me, you kind of need it. And just spread that evenly over the top. That looks good. You want to get that as even as possible. And then mix together both kinds of sugar and the cinnamon. Just do a really good job. Now, I know that in the supermarket you can buy pre-made cinnamon sugar. Why you would pay dollars to buy pre-made cinnamon sugar is beyond me, when you can make it yourself with just sugar and cinnamon. And I personally like to add brown sugar as well, because it's got that extra layer of sweetness, because brown sugar has molasses in it, and it's just a little bit more sticky, a little bit sweeter, just all around more delicious. Then you take this mixture and you sprinkle this evenly all over the top. That looks good enough for me. Now, something really important is that you need to cover this up with just a kitchen towel. Put it somewhere warm and let this you know, leave it alone to rise for a good half an hour. So you want it to rise so it's like double the thickness, because you don't want this to be super thin. You still want a really fluffy dough, just like a cinnamon roll would be, just much, much easier. So I'm just gonna let this rise until it's doubled in size. It'll take between 30 minutes to an hour maybe. Just keep your eye out. Because this kitchen is so hot with all the lighting, it's gonna happen a lot quicker. So I'll show you what it looks like once it's there, and then we're that much closer to put it in the oven and stuffing my face with it. My pizza has fluffed up really, really nicely. Don't worry that the top is starting to melt. I accidentally put this tray on my burner and I just had got something cooking there, so the heat kind of started to melt the butter. But anyway, you want to make sure you've got your oven preheated at this point to 400. I'm going to pop this in there for around 20 to 25 minutes or until it's golden brown and puffed up. Then let it cool a bit. I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. My pizza was in the oven for about 20 minutes. I let it cool completely. Now I wanted to mention a quick tip, because I'm always honest with you. Be careful with how much butter you put on the top. I normally put about a quarter cup, a little bit less. I ended up putting a little bit more, but if you put a little bit more and it starts to pull up too much, then just take paper towels, dab it in there, I'll soak it all up, and you're good to go. But usually 3 tablespoons or so is perfect. 3, 3.5, maybe 4, but no more than that. So that's looking perfect, and it's cooled completely, which is really important. Now I'm going to get going on making the cream cheese drizzle, the glaze. I've got some cream cheese and butter here that are both really nice and soft at room temperature. And what I'm doing, and I'm just going to mix those two together with a touch of vanilla. Now I'm not making a ton of glaze, because I just want to put in like a nice amount of glaze, but I don't want to cover the whole thing completely. It's just kind of want to drizzle it on the top. So I'm just going to mix these 3 together now, just to incorporate the vanilla. And then we're going to add in the confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar, whatever you call it, with a touch of cream. Now just start with a small amount of cream, and then just take a minute to combine this together. It looks like it's never going to work, but trust me when I tell you that it will. You're just going to need to have a little bit of patience. That's why I think a spatula, yes, I know that's not the right word, works best for this, so it's not all clumping around the whisk at this point. And then just add a little bit of cream at a time. You can use milk. Cream just makes it a little bit more thick and delicious. Just add a little bit at a time until you get your desired consistency. That looks good. Let's start drizzling this on top and see how we do. You don't want this to be too runny, because then it won't kind of, you know, hold on to it. As soon as you cut it, it's going to start kind of going everywhere. Now you can make this as neat or as not as you want. You can always put this in a piping bag and just kind of drizzle it that way. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's be honest with you. I've got friends here and they're ready to dig in, and there's no way they're going to wait for me to make this all perfect. But in my opinion, it is amazing. It looks perfect. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to cut it with my pizza cutter. You can cut this in, you know, however many pieces you like. Let's see. I think I'm just going to cut this for now. Oh yeah. I'm going to cut that piece right there. Probably a better idea to put it on a board and cut it with a big thick knife. This is amazing. Come on, work with me. There you go. And look at that. It's incredible. It truly tastes like a cinnamon, but 10 times easier. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. Hop on all over to laurainthekitchen.com to get this recipe. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.